how's it going, everyone? I hope you all are having an amazing day. Now, this video is a little special as it's probably only gonna come a once in a lifetime thing. This is my top 10 favorite manga of all time. Now, this was a video I wanted to film a little later, but one I really had to sit down and think, because a top 10 is something not to take lightly. It's something that you should seriously put your thoughts into, and one that I think you should really think about, because, you know, it almost defies you as a manga collector or any hobby that has a top 10 in it. It really defines you as a character. And today I am going to put my top 10 out into the world and show you guys my favorite manga of all time. But before I start this video, according to YouTube, only 28% of you guys that watch these videos are subscribed. So if you like this video and you'd like to see more, I'd very much appreciate it if you just scroll down and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But I'll try not to talk too much about these because I don't want this video to be too long, but I do want to put my wholehearted thoughts into this video about all of these manga. But yeah, I think without further ado, let's get on to the number 10. All right, so at the number 10 spot was a manga for a while I had a very hard time getting my hands on. But when I did, when I read it, I absolutely blazed through it and absolutely fell in love with it. And that is none other than Hell's Paradise. Hell's Paradise is a manga I didn't think I'd love as much as I did, but it is one I seriously enjoyed. I hate to say it, but it might seem kind of weird to compare, but I think the way this manga does characters is kind of the same way Chainsaw Man does characters, but this does it 120 million% better. So the reason why I say that is because there are a lot of characters in this manga, just like in Chainsaw Man, and sadly, a lot of those characters don't make it. Just like in Chainsaw Man. And the way I'd like to see it is I think this manga actually takes those characters and, you know, gives them a personality, gives them time to flourish as a human being and a character in this manga. And we really get to understand them as a character and, you know, where they really stand in the series, which is what I think Chainsaw Man just couldn't do. I feel like whenever a character died in Chainsaw Man, we never really got to know them. In this manga, I think we do get that. I think we do get to know them before they suddenly pass away in the middle of a fight or something very traumatic happened. I did feel severe sadness whenever a character passed away in this manga. I'm not going to say who, because obviously it's spoilers, but this manga, I think, handled the characters very well, which is what I was trying to say this entire time. I think this manga handled the characters very well. And the one thing I do again love about this manga is the volume length. Not only do I think 13 volumes is nice on the wallet, I think it's the perfect series length. One that doesn't drag on for too long, that you know, you really have to get invested in, and it's one that won't absolutely destroy your bank account. It's a series that I think is perfect in volume length. You know, we really got to follow the story and understand the characters and the plot and the villains and all of these aspects of a manga that we should get time to appreciate. We did get to appreciate in this manga, and I think did very well. I think the setting the mangaka has created was absolutely astonishing. I loved how bright and colorful everything seemed while being super fucking dark and sinister. The way the characters kind of clashed in personalities and their thought process. I loved the fact how they turned out to be enemies, but then ended up being friends who had a never-ending bond of friendship after this series ended. I seriously loved that about this manga, and a good manga obviously has to have a good ending, and I think this manga ended beautifully. I think the ending to this manga was beautiful, and one I wouldn't change for the world. But yeah, Hell's Paradise is definitely one of those series that I will hold very near and dear to my heart. Now, just because it's my number 10 doesn't mean I don't like this series. I think it is phenomenal. I think the story was phenomenal. I thought the characters were beautiful, and I thought all around, this manga was just such a fun ride. So yeah, Hell's Paradise has entered in my top spot. Now, next is, again, a series I didn't think I'd enjoy as much as I do, but one I loved wholeheartedly, and that is Summertime Rendering. Summertime Rendering at first was a manga I wasn't really interested in picking up. I remember looking at the first volume going, I'm like, you know, looking at it, seeing like I could pick this up, but I'd rather spend my money elsewhere. But when I picked up the first volume and read it, I instantly bought the rest of the series, or at least what was currently out at the time. And what I can say is this series is absolutely phenomenal. I think this series is one of very few that do the mystery horror plot and feeling perfectly. The way they kind of portrayed the plot and characters in a really like mystery and like kind of thriller aspect was absolutely phenomenal. The way they, you know, you get this eerie feeling whenever you read this manga, you know, whenever there's a fight scene, you really realize, ooh, is this really how it's going to end? Is this really how it's going to, you know, transpire for the characters? And when you think it's over, oh, a fucking cliffhanger comes at you, another left hook, another plot twist hits you right in the chin, and you know, this series just keeps going. This series just hits you left and right with plot twists, and I love it. I love it. I think this series is one of the greatest, I think one of the greatest mystery horror mangas I've read ever. And I don't really like horror manga because I don't think any manga has done horror well. Especially Junji Ito. Summertime Rendering is one that like would have you at the edge of your seat 24/7, one that had me biting my nails every time I like picked up a volume, and it's just all around phenomenal series. And I have to give props where props is due. Udon did an amazing job at these paperbacks. I love them so much. I love at the end of every volume there's a nice huge poster. Hell, you can maybe rip off and put up on your wall, whatever, frame them, who knows. Like, the way Udon printed these volumes are absolutely phenomenal. Now, I know there are hardcovers out there, but looking at them, they don't look any different to the soft covers. If anything, you would have to tell me that is the hardcover for me to actually, like, you know, be like, oh, yeah, wait, it is, because they look absolutely similar. So I feel like paperbacks are a lot easier to read than hardcovers, but if you're the other way, then you're definitely able to go pick up the hardcovers. But if you're with me, you can definitely go pick up the soft covers. Both are very viable options, them being 2-in-1s and only being 12 volumes long in Japanese. So it's only 6 volumes long, so it's not detrimental to your wallet, and it's not detrimental to your time. You can blaze through it in like a couple days. Hell, if you're a Chad reader, you can finish it in a day, and, you know, seriously take in everything this manga offers, because I think this manga is one that doesn't come around often, and really does the mystery horror genre justice. I wouldn't really say horror, actually. I'd probably say thriller. I think this manga is just phenomenal at doing that. And yeah, Summertime Rendering enters in my ninth spot. I think I gave it like a 9.5 on AniList. This series is just phenomenal. So next we have a series I've been preaching for a long time, and one you guys might know if you are into this genre of manga, and that is Yakitate Japan. Yakitate, yes, is entering in my top 10. You'd probably think it'd be a lot higher, but I haven't read too much to for it to enter in my top 5. This manga is phenomenal. This manga is phenomenal. I'm going to talk very highly about every single manga in this video, just because it's a top 10. It's manga you love, so I'm going to talk about manga I love, and Yakitate Japan is just one of those series. Yakitate Japan has that classic shonen feel, and, you know, really makes you reminisce on, you know, maybe the first time you ever read manga or watched anime. It felt so refreshing to read something so classic yet so enjoyable. something that, you know, you really can't take for granted, because a series like this doesn't come around often anymore. And this series is quite old. I believe it's 20 years old. I think it's as old as I am, because I believe this came out in 02. I was born in 02. So yeah, Yakitate Japan is just one of those series I think does the food genre so well. Now, a lot of people compare this to Food Wars, because apparently Food Wars got a lot of inspiration from this manga, and absolutely, I can see that. You thought I was gonna say nah? No, I absolutely agree with that. This screams Food Wars, and Food Wars screams Yakitate Japan. The ways I guess the structure of Food Wars is the exact same structure as Yakitate Japan, but instead of baking, it's all around cooking in Food Wars. And yes, I just said Yakitate Japan's about baking, so it's a nice different twist on a food manga, but I think does so well. I think the art's phenomenal for a early 2000s manga, and the characters are phenomenal. The tournament arcs are so good. It's so enjoyable. I really can't say enough about this manga. If you guys have seen my videos of when I was picking this manga up, I talked about it nonstop, and I will continue to do so, because I think this manga is just amazing. I think the spines are beautiful on a shelf. Now, I only currently have volume 1 to 10. I do need to pick up more. There are, I believe, 23 or 26 volumes in total, so that's why it's not too high on this list, because I haven't read it all fully. But from what I have read, this just stole my heart. This absolutely stole my heart. I think everything about this manga, it just screams classic shonen goodness that I think a lot of people take for granted nowadays. So if you want something super classic and super fun, enjoyable, and one that just, you know, doesn't really take itself seriously, and one where the stakes aren't too high, so you know, it's one where you want to sit back, relax, and read a good manga, Yakitate Japan is just definitely one of those series, because everything they do in this manga is just so much fun. But yeah, Yakitate Japan is my number 8 on this list. Ah, oh, so good. Now, next is a manga I gave a 10 out of 10 on any list, which I do still stand by, but one that is probably a little surprising to you for being so high on this list, or I guess so low on this list, and that is One Punch Man. Now, the only reason why it's on number 8 and not number 1 is because I think this manga gets better the more it goes on, so I don't think it's not the series where it's like phenomenal right off the bat. It is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Don't get me wrong, the recent chapters, Yusuke Murata, you are a god, I want to kiss you on the lips. You are amazing. I love your art so much, but I do think it is art that kind of got better over time. I don't think the very, very, very like early One Punch Man is as good as the very, very, very recent One Punch Man. I think this manga aged like fine wine. The more it's aged, the better it got, is what I think what I'm trying to say. One Punch Man's a classic. One Punch Man is a manga everyone has read, and if you haven't, you're seriously missing out, and is staple in a lot of people's manga collections. Now, this is actually one of my first, I think my first ever manga. Yes, I remember getting volume, I think was it 7, 8, 9, way back when Indigo was doing their buy two get one sales. You know, that was before COVID, so that was like 3 years ago. I remember getting whatever was after season 1 at the time, because season 2 didn't even come out. It's just, I have such fond memories, is why it's in this list. And one that I think isn't as good at the beginning as good it is now. I think is what I'm trying to say, if you know what I mean. Everything about this manga is just so good. Yusuke Murata, you are a god. You are an amazing storyteller. If you guys have yet to read One Punch Man, fuck's wrong with you? Like, it's One Punch Man. Come on. Now, if there is one thing I do want to talk about, are the release dates. The release dates on these mangas are fucking horseshit. Between volume 23 and 24, which 13 months. 13 months! That's a year. That's crazy. But I understand completely. I can still complain, though. I can still definitely complain. But One Punch Man is a classic, and one many people love, including me. I think this manga is just all around phenomenal. Alright, next is a recent binge of mine. Recent as in the past, I'd like to say 6 months. And that is Dorohedoro. I think everything this manga stands for and everything it has done is phenomenal. And borderline perfect. Everything about this manga is so good. Q Hiyashida, you are a phenomenal storyteller and artist. I think your art is so unique and yet fit the story you were trying to tell so unbelievably well. The gritty, the dirty, the almost like bloody art style you created just fit the really dark, sinister plot line so well. The power system is really not necessarily complicated, but there's a lot to it. Everything about this manga is just so unbelievably phenomenal. The plot was fucking phenomenal and really threw curveballs at you every chance it can get. Like this manga, I was reading like 6 volumes a day because I just couldn't put it down. This manga was just so good. The characters, oh my god. Kaiman, I love you so much. Nikaido, you are bad as fuck. Please let me hit. No. All around, I think this manga is borderline perfection. Everything about this manga is just absolutely amazing. The characters we met along the way, the twists and turns we witnessed is just borderline perfection. I think this manga is phenomenal, but I do think everything else in this list does top it. Yes, Dorohedoro enters in my top 10, very close to my top 5. Now we are on to the top 5. Now my number 5 is definitely going to surprise you guys, as it is a brand new read of mine. Not brand new, but brand new as in it is the newest addition to this top 10, let alone my top 5. One that I didn't think I'd enjoy as much as I do, but when I started reading it, and which recently just got an anime, I just couldn't put it down, and one that just fits me as a person so well. At my number 5 spot, we have Skip and Loafer. Skip and Loafer is just that good. It is the perfect definition of slice of life. This manga screams beauty whenever you talk about it. I just get such a big smile on my face. This series is so wholesome in the character writing. The art's so cute. This story is so sweet and wholesome. This manga just is perfect. I think everything this manga does is perfect. Everything this manga does is perfect. I think it's just perfect. This manga is so good. It is newer. There is only 6 volumes out, but even after the 2nd volume, I knew this manga was going to enter in my top 5. And well, here it is. It's on my number 5. I think the MC is so cute. Her dreams and I guess ambitions is so wholesome. Everything about this manga is so cute. There is little drama, but when there is drama, it's not like suspenseful drama, you know what I mean? Like, it's not mood ruining drama. It's like, you know, little... I just dropped the volume. It's like, you know, teenage drama, you know, maybe this girl doesn't like me, or oh, I like this guy, but I think this guy likes someone else, etc., etc. But I think does so well. I think that little drama just adds so much more originality to this manga and makes it so much more enjoyable. I love Skip and Loafer so much. Everything it stands for is amazing. The anime is a 10 out of 10. You have an amazing plot line with some amazing characters, and you have such a phenomenal soundtrack on top of it. It's getting the treatment it deserves, and the music just bumped it up to a 10 on my anime list. I love this manga so much. It is a hidden gem that I don't think anyone else is taking for granted. I think if you want something wholesome and sweet and cute, please go read Skip and Loafer, which is why it is in my number 5 slot. All right, so next we are getting into manga I'm known for. One everyone knows I love and won't shut up about, and one I recently got HBO manga to buy. That is Silver Spoon. I mainly want to talk about the plot in this video and the characters of Silver Spoon. Now, yes, physical qualities, the physical volumes are very nice. I love the way Yen Press printed these. Very gorgeous, yada yada yada. But if there's one thing I really want to talk about, it's the plot. I think the realism this manga has and the really deep emotions each character has, especially Hachiken, I think is very, very, very special. for those who are going through a rough time, such as myself, when it comes to career choices and just finding out who you are as a human being. I think this manga absolutely is just that manga you need to read right now. It's a manga I found at the perfect time, and one I definitely don't take for granted. The way the plot works in a random teenage boy who has no idea what he wants to do with his life and ends up just going to an agriculture school just to get away from his parents, especially his father, to, I guess, live a teenage life, but ends up meeting people that really change who he is as a human being and, you know, help him find who he is inside. I think that story is fucking beautiful. I think everything about this manga is just absolutely stunning. I think Hachiken is one of my favorite MCs of all time. His storyline and his life, and the way they portray his life, and, you know, him growing and understanding the world around him as he becomes a fully fledged adult, I think is so real. I think is so real, and one I think people definitely need to read in their life. Now, yes, it is very human drama, but it is very fun. For those that don't know, it is by Hiromu Arakawa, who has done Full Metal Alchemist, who is a very popular mangaka for a very good reason. I think Hiromu Arakawa is an absolutely phenomenal mangaka. I just think everything she does is very, very, very good. I think Silver Spoon is just a series everyone needs to read for Hachiken. If you really, 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 really want to read it, I definitely recommend you do that. I think Hachiken is by far the most relatable and understanding character that everyone should come to understand and realize. And yes, it is about agriculture, so you do learn a lot because Arakawa did grow up on a farm, so you do definitely learn a lot about agriculture. And when it comes to, you know, making milk or, you know, cheese, bacon, what goes into taking care of animals every day, yada yada yada. It's a very educational manga, but one with a very deep-rooted story that I think everyone should read. But yeah, that's Silver Spoon. If you have yet to go pick this up, do yourself a favor. It's only 13 volumes long, or is it 15? It's 15, sorry. So it's not a detriment to your pocket, so it's definitely one I 120% recommend, which is why it is at my number 4 spot. All right, next, you guys know I've been loving for years now, Dr. Stone. I think Boichi and Inagaki are a absolutely killer duo together. I think Inagaki is a phenomenal storyteller, and I think Boichi is one of my favorite mangakas of all time. I said this in a recent video, but Boichi is known for drawing the human anatomy very, very, very realistically, and which definitely adds a bit of realism to this manga, but one I just love so much, especially when he draws the women, you know what I'm saying? Wink, wink, you know, wink, wink, you know? I think Boichi is a phenomenal mangaka. I really can't say enough. I really can't say anything about this manga that I haven't said already. I think the story is phenomenal. There are only 26 volumes and 1 volume of a side story that I obviously own because, you know, I have to. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. It's just phenomenal. The story of Senku and the crew just, you know, bringing back humanity is a really well done story. I think the story is phenomenal. Everything about this manga just screams fun. You know, every volume leaves you at the edge of your seat and, you know, really gives you a middle finger at the end of every volume. But I mean that in a best way possible. It leaves off on huge cliffhangers left and right, and one, you know, you are so excited to get your hands on the next volume because you really want to read what happens next. And the characters are so well done. These covers and spines are gorgeous. I love them so much. This again was one of my very first mangas, and one I definitely don't take for granted, and one I don't plan on leaving or selling anytime soon, because this is just, this, I think if there was a manga to encapsulate me as a person, it's Dr. Stone. Everyone knows me as, you know, the guy that loves Dr. Stone, or the guy that loves a certain manga coming up. It's just so good. Dr. Stone is phenomenal. If you want my full opinions, you can definitely go watch my manga haul videos, because every time I feature Dr. Stone, I just talk about how good it is. So if you want more in-depth opinions on it, you can definitely go watch my other videos. Also, you don't give me them views, baby. Thank you very much. Dr. Stone is just phenomenal. All right, we are down to my second favorite manga of all time. Now, one that literally just got placed at number 2, that got dethroned. For those that don't know, my number 1 manga of all time used to be Blue Lock, but at the number 2 spot, we have Blue Lock. Oh, that's a twist you guys probably didn't see, huh? Number 2 is Blue Lock. I made a whole video about Blue Lock, so if you're interested in my full entire opinions about that, you can definitely go check it out. But I think this manga is phenomenal. I think the fantasy-esque sports genre the mangaka has created here, I think is phenomenal. I think the characters are just absolutely phenomenal. The art is a 10 out of 10. The plot line is so much fun and, really keeps you on your toes. It really makes you want to read the next chapter. I remember long before this came out physically, I believe like 3 years ago when I read it, like back in like prime COVID, I binged the entire thing in like a week. I don't normally do that. This manga was just so good. Hell, I even own the first 13 volumes in Japanese. I think everything this manga stands for is phenomenal. It's super suspenseful. It's, it's jaw-dropping. It's suspenseful. I think I just said that. All around, such a fun ride. It is such a fun ride. So yes, if you want my full entire opinion on this, it's a little outdated. I believe the video is about 2 years old now, but you can definitely go check it out. I believe it's either up here or up here. Definitely go check it out because this manga now is, yes, at my number 2 spot, but is still a 10 out of 10 and will hold a very special place in my heart. It's the kind of series I found at the right time, and recently a lot of more people have been getting into, thankfully, to an anime and a physical release by Kodansha. I'm so happy you guys are indulging in this series and really taking it in as what it's meant to be, a phenomenal sports manga. Now, I think people complain too much about it being quote-unquote realistic. It's not realistic. It's a batshit crazy, balls to the walls, kind of fantasy-esque sports manga. There's like quote-unquote powers to this manga. There's like inhuman things that happen in this manga that I just think people take too seriously. I think you should just have fun with this manga. Not take it too seriously, because this manga is not meant to be taken seriously whatsoever. That is Blue Lock. If you want my full opinion, you're free to go check out a video up there. Thank you very much. That is my number 2. Let's move on to my number 1 spot. Now, this manga, compared to everything else in this list, has recently just gotten into my life. I think maybe a year and a half. I'd say about a year now, but has completely taken over my life. And one I thought was kind of unfair to compare to everything else on this list because it has so many storylines and so many chapters and volumes that I thought it was kind of unfair. But I was laying in bed and I was like, no, this series is my favorite series of all time. This manga is my favorite manga of all time, and then there's no way anything can ever top it. It has taken over my life, both mentally and, in my daily life. Hell, look around in my room. I'll show photos. This is probably spoilers. You guys probably know it as one I don't shut up about and has completely taken over my life. My favorite manga of all time is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now, I do have a Snowball Run volume here, but I don't have a part 1 volume, so I'm just showing this one. I think everything Araki stands for and has created is the definition of perfection. Everything from, the plot lines to his characters to the super complex stand designs and stand powers to his very unique art style. The fact that he never draws a character the same is really unique about Araki. It's the one and only series I own art books for. Araki is just such a interesting human being and one that I just love everything about. JoJo's has taken over my life. Hell, before I even read part 7, I already had fucking 2 part 7 posters on my wall. Now I have 4. Like, it has taken over my life and I couldn't be happier. This manga has affected me, has changed me. No other manga has ever done. It's like, it's changed me as a human being. It's changed the way I think about things and the way I think about manga and the medium. It's just all around a phenomenal series. I think Araki is a pioneer of, you know, this genre of manga. And with part 9 coming out, I think Araki still is in his peak. Araki has peaked in part 7 and is still peaking. People say he kind of fell off in part 8. Okay, but I still loved part 8. I still loved it wholeheartedly. I thought Wonder of You was a phenomenal stand design, and the way his power worked was very interesting and very fun to, I guess, theorize about and come to understand. I think that's another thing I love about the JoJo's manga is the community, the videos of, you know, theories and like character analysis, and just how deep people go into this series that I've never seen from any other community. Everyone's so tight-knit and we all love the same thing. You know, people call us gay, people call us homosexuals, you know, shit like that. I don't fucking care if it means I love this manga. Fuck, I'm gay. No, that's a joke. But if it means I like this series, then fuck it. JoJo's is just that manga that has seriously changed my life. It is one of a kind, and one I absolutely take for granted. This is one manga I absolutely take for granted, and one I, you know, seriously thank for being in my life. This manga all around is an 11 out of 10. Now, there are parts that are better than others, but I don't think there is such thing as a bad JoJo's part. Part 1 and part 3 were slow, especially part 3 was very slow, but somehow I got through it because I knew it wasn't bad. Like, part 3 wasn't that bad. It was bad compared to everything else, but it still, as an anime, was very, very, very good. And part 7 was the pinnacle of anything Araki's made. While it's not my favorite part, I can understand that it is the best thing Araki's ever made. My favorite part is absolutely part 4, and close second is part 7 and part 8. It's just I can't say anything bad about this manga. Everything this manga stands for is phenomenal. Everything this manga has done and is doing is phenomenal. Araki, you are the greatest mangaka of all time. I don't care what anyone else says. You can say Kentaro Miura is the best. Fucking Toriyama's the best. No, Araki's the best mangaka to exist. He is. Who the fuck gets a museum just to show his art? Who the fuck gets an entire museum exhibit to show his art? Hell, that's what an entire art book is based off of. Araki's art exhibits. You know, this manga is so old. This manga is 35 years old. I think, hell, maybe even 45 years old. This manga is old. For those that don't know, because, you know, the anime part 6 just came out and part 1 didn't come out too long ago. I think like 10 years ago or something like that. Part 1 came out 2 years after Fist of the North Star. I think that was what, early 70s, maybe late 80s. I don't know dates. Yes. Okay. I'll calm down. I think JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the greatest thing to ever be created, and which is why it is at my #1 spot. So, that's a long video, but that is my top 10 manga of all time. Please let me know your guys' opinions down in the comments down below. Please be civil. I know people like to get their panties in a bunch. I know last video I got Berserk fans pissed off, even though I didn't diss Berserk whatsoever, just because I said the volumes were expensive. But please just be civil in the future. No need to diss me and my character. That's just rude. Because, you know, I never attack you guys. If I do, it's jokingly. You know, if I'm not laughing at the end of that sentence, you know I'm joking. But if I'm laughing, it's obviously a joke for the camera. But yeah, I digress. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Please let me know your top 10 down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Peace, take care, love y'all.